Okay, how you all doing? My name is Tiffany, and this video right here will be a part 1 on prepping chicken and dressing. We're going to use celery, we're going to use onions and green bell pepper to make it as far as our vegetables. I have 2 right here, but we're going to use a total of about 5 of them. I have cut about 3 of them in here. Just according to how big your dressing is going to be, but mine is not going to be very, very large. So what you do with the celery, you're going to cut this bottom part off right here on both. These are the pieces that you're going to throw away. Everything is already washed and clean to speed up the video. What I usually do with my celery, I cut it down the middle first, like this. And from there, I chop. It doesn't have to be very small pieces, because you would notice that all your vegetables are going to melt down. Very small. I do cut the whole thing up, other than the little, I do use all of it other than the little small piece that I didn't chop up right here at the bottom. Once again, I'm going to cut it down the middle. And going to chop them in fairly large pieces. Large to medium pieces. What we're going to do, we're going to put them up here in the bowl. Let them sit. We're going to use this later after we have boiled the chicken. So this video will pretty much be myself cutting up all the vegetables and making the cornbread for the dressing and boiling the chicken. The onion, you see I have a large onion. I am going to use the whole large onion to make the dressing. This, along with the chicken, these vegetables, this is where you're going to get all of your flavors for your chicken broth. And all of that will be in another video. Like I said, cut them in pretty big pieces. All of this is going to melt down. In the process of boiling the chicken. Well, in the process of the broth after we boil the chicken. This is what you're going to put all of this in. And this will be on another video. And not this video. Take all of this right here off of your onion. Okay. You're going to put this to the side. In a large bowl, because that's a lot of onions. Just going to set this over to the side. Next, I'm going to use a whole bell pepper, in which I have cut half of a bell pepper right here. We're going to take this little piece out right here, put it to the side. I do save all of my vegetables waste. I do save all of my vegetables that I can't put into the food because I have a garden and I compost in my garden. I'll do another video on that right there. My garden and composting my vegetable garden. Once again, we're going to cut pretty large pieces, medium to large pieces. I'm going to show you later on in the video how all of this is going to melt down. Okay. Put that in there for later. Video 2. So far we have cut our celery, our bell pepper, and our onion. Next, I have already washed my chicken. This is a chicken that I'm going to use, that I'm going to season and boil. I will be using garlic powder, Larry seasoned salt, and some pepper to boil it and get the flavor coming together for our chicken and dressing broth that we're going to need for the cornbread. I already have some hot water back here boiling. As you can see, what I'm going to do is drop this chicken into the hot water so it can boil. I'm going to put the lid back on top, and I'm going to cut it down just a little bit, because when water starts to boil on high, it's going to come outside of the pot, and we don't want all the water laying on the stove. So just adjust it as you need it, because that's what I'm going to do when it starts to boil. I'm going to cut the cut my stove up a little bit more. But if it starts to boil over, I'm going to cut it down a little bit. Okay. So the next thing we will be doing, I'm getting some water over here. I'm getting some hot water. We're going to make. The next thing we will be doing is making hot water cornbread. I have already put some cornbread in here. Sorry, not cornbread, I'm sorry. I've already put some meal in here. And what I have is white meal in here, in this bowl. I'm going to add my hot water. I'm going to add a little bit at a time, because I want to adjust it so it's not too thin. You do not want soupy, milky cornbread. What I'm going to do, as you can see, I put a little water in it. It's not enough. You can tell because it's kind of clunky. I'm going to add a little bit more hot water. You don't have to add all of the eggs or anything like that into it right now. That's something that you're going to do later, because you're not making cornbread. You're just trying, well, you're not making like the Jiffy cornbread or anything that you're going to eat immediately. I am going to add a little butter. Before I started the video, I melted a little butter to put in here. And I always keep a little bit in here. Okay. This is how it should look at this time. And what I'm trying to do is make enough that it fill this pan up. This pan will be enough for the amount of cornbread that I'm going to cook today. Okay. What I am going to do, this is some flour that I put inside of this bowl, along with the butter that I showed you earlier. I left a little bit in there. what I'm doing, I'm using this butter to coat the pan. So when I get the cornbread out, it's not stuck to the side. You can either use regular, oil, cooking oil, olive oil, or you can use butter. I like to use butter because it gives it a little bit more of a flavor. You just want to coat it so it won't stick. I do my sides so it won't stick. Feel free to use your hand if you like to move it around if you want to. A lot of people do that. I'm going to add a little bit more butter to it. I do not have enough butter, so I'm going to add a little bit more to it. It will melt. It will melt itself. That's the only thing you have to do. This right here is just coating the pan. That's it. And scoop a little bit out of this out. We don't need that much. Yeah. See that? That's what I'm going to do. Just fill this pan up. You may notice that you don't have enough in here. Only thing you have to do, repeat the process of adding your meal and your water. And that is what you're going to see me do. Add some more meal. Because as you can see, this is not going to fill this up. And I'm going to add some water as well. I'm going to add some hot water as well. And once again, I'm going to mix it. Okay. This year I don't need a whole lot. Usually I make a whole lot of dressing, but this year, you know, by the corona and everything going on, I'm not going to have many family members over. So I don't want to make too much food where I have to throw it away. So this right here is fine. And what I'm going to do is open the oven. I'm going to put this cornbread into the oven. As you can tell, I do have the oven on 350. And I'm going to let it cook until it brown. This is part 1 of prepping chicken and dressing. I have put my chicken on, and I'm going to let you see how far it has boiled so far. It is going to come into a very high boil, and I'm going to have to cut it down just a little bit because the pot that it's in. I have cut all of my vegetables up, also my onions. And what I'm going to do with my chicken, I'm going to add my garlic now, because all this water that you see on it is going to become broth. I do not measure because I don't have to measure. I know exactly what I'm doing. I've been doing it for a little bit too long. I'm going to also add some pepper. And I'm going to allow it to boil. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe and like. And I will be posting the second video on the next step. Thank you so much for watching.